Check this out, guys.
Hi, this is Curtis with Autel Consultancy. How could I assist you today? Yeah, hey Curtis. I had a problem with the. Hi, this is Curtis with Autel Consultancy. How could I assist you today? Yeah, hey Curtis. I have a problem with the Autel. Was a 906 BT. I purchased it through Amazon.ca, and it has different languages that you can use. And when I downloaded or actualized the settings and everything, I had everything in English, and then I needed everything to be done in Spanish, so I clicked on the Spanish, and all the menu, everything comes up in Spanish, but when I go to diagnose a vehicle, it says Spanish is not available. So you're looking for tech support? I guess, I don't know. I'm just looking here on YouTube, and it has this Autel Consultancy thing here, so I decided to call, Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm a private firm. Like, I can give tech support, but I charge for it. Like, it's a commitment. So the way it works is a lot of people have the same problem with the language. Your tool, if it's probably from Amazon, it's probably from a Chinese vendor, and those vendors don't have those languages in it. Oh, really? You would have to do something on the back end to actually download the correct language, and they're not authorized to do that. So how do we do that? Well, what I would do, like if you were my client, I can put in a request to have the language changed, and then they will then send you an update with the downloaded Spanish version. Oh, who would send it? You mean Autel? I would do it on your behalf. They would then. I see. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take your serial number, and then they will put it, the software where you can download that particular language. Right. And then you'll be sorted out. Oh, shit. Okay, see, now the other issue is I'm in Canada, and my unit is in the Caribbean, and I had left it there. I just got back, and because I said, well, when I get back to Canada, I'll find out what the situation is here with this, why it won't do the Spanish or any other language. Actually, we tried German, we tried everything else, and it wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. I'll have to get a hold of them because I don't even have the serial number of the unit, so I'll have to get the serial number of it.
This is another incident with an innocent customer who purchased their tool from a very well-known online retailer we all know as Amazon. I get these calls weekly, and I realize that I have a responsibility to enlighten you on a cognitive level so you can really think your purchase through before you click that Buy Now button. This is Kurt the Consultant, and let me begin by just thanking you for this opportunity, and I hope you may find today's topic leaving you something to think about. I'm going to clear up all the BS about buying on Amazon, and by the end of this presentation, you will know how Amazon works and how their brand is subconsciously getting into your mind and you're buying things without even knowing it. Second, you will see the challenges that you face when choosing to buy on these platforms and how most people are buying the wrong tools that they can't use. Third, you'll learn about Autel's distribution system and how it can affect you depending on whom you purchase from. And fourth, the different levels of support. You'll see the differences between customer support and client support. Also, my crafted solution to the Amazon problem. Let's jump into it. There are three major components to the Amazon ecosystem. First, there are your suppliers. Then there's Amazon and its warehouse distribution centers. And lastly, there is you, the consumer. Now, Amazon understands what their consumers want. Fast shipping at rock bottom prices. They manage to do this because of their distribution setup. Some sellers can purchase to you directly, but most of them will use Amazon's warehouses so they can ship on their behalf. Amazon is a transaction company, meaning their platform is focused on volume sales. This may seem beneficial to you on the surface, but when it comes to this tool in particular, it's actually a big problem that you only see later on after the sale. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take this seller for example. We'll just call him Bob. Okay, Bob wants to sell on Amazon. So what he'll do is he'll send his Autel inventory to the Amazon warehouse. This is how you can get their product in 1 or 2 days, since their warehouses are all over the world. All right, and they're just ready, waiting for you to purchase that, buy now button, and they can get the tool to you. Now, since Amazon has so much traffic, the sellers will sell at the lowest price to entice customers to buy from them. As I said, it's a transaction company. They're not really worried about what happens after the sale. Okay, this is why you see so many different prices on Amazon. Some are from sellers who are, overseas. I would say the majority of them are, and there's some who are, let's say local. So basically, you're just getting sellers competing with other sellers. All right. Now, there's something that you need to think about. All right, that it probably hasn't crossed your mind. Number one, can you call the supplier? Okay. For me, why would you want to do business with somebody who you can't pick up the phone and talk to and extract information from? Okay, that's just my buying preference. When you're buying a high ticket item, I like to be able to talk to somebody. The second thing is, do you know the origin of the supplier? All right, even though his tool is coming from Amazon, if he's hiding behind Amazon's infrastructure, where is this seller from? Because depending on where he's from will dictate what type of support you'll get. If you'll get any support or regular customer support. And then the last thing you need to think about, does the supplier conduct his own customer service or do they outsource it? As I said, most of them are there as platforms trying to make sales, but they don't have the same type of infrastructure in terms of after. Okay, something to think about. So it will finally arrive at the Amazon Warehouse Distribution Center where it is waiting to be purchased. So let me just share with you the other side of it, of the consumer, and then you can see what challenges that you guys may have. Now on this slide, I'm actually going to jump into the avatar of the consumer. And these are the challenges that I personally saw when trying to make an educated decision on where to buy on Amazon. First, there's no customer consultation. So the sellers don't ask you the right questions in order you to determine if this tool is congruent with your needs. All right. So what happens is you'll go on there, you'll see a product that is, let's say it's a stage 1 tool, like a basic handheld tool, and it will have listed all the categories and features that you needed to do. So you invest in this tool, but you don't realize stage 1 tools are limited. And yes, it can do some of those features that are listed on there, but for like one vehicle. And this happens to a lot of people. A lot of people waste a lot of money buying products that are, not serving them because it was the wrong tool, or they're buying tools that are out the scope of their ability, and they're paying hectic, update fees for, something that they're not going to use. So that's one setback. The other thing that I saw was kind of a challenge was the origin of the sellers. So the majority of the sellers are behind the Great Wall of Amazon. And Amazon has a really powerful brand name. When you think of that name, you kind of know what experience you're going to get. So by them sending the tool straight to Amazon, the seller's, let's say, name is kind of hidden in the background. You really got to dig kind of deep to find out who it is and stuff like that. And this could be a problem because depending on who you sell to, you'll have different experiences in terms of your support and how product returns are managed. It's two different experiences, and this is probably why you see a lot of different pricing. They're trying to compete with one another, and the only way you can do that on Amazon is to lower the price. And when you do that, their goal is just to get as much people as possible. And I just feel that's just the wrong way of doing things. There's no way that company can handle, all the support tickets afterwards. So that's another problem. The other thing that I saw was the limited product documentation. So if you look, most of the product descriptions are identical. They copy and paste from, let's say, Autel's official site, or maybe from one another, and they don't tell you the limitations and differences of each of the tool. I mean, you're gonna have to ask for this, but it's difficult. And they have thousands of people they have to ask questions to. You're only gonna get one or two questions probably out of them. And yeah, this information is vital. If you can have information on what the tool can't do, what it can do, this will help your decision, and it's just very difficult because they're all the same. Next is the support infrastructure is, confusing. Do you contact Amazon for support, or do you contact the seller if you know who the seller is? If the seller is overseas, I mean, do you have to contact them? So this is also kind of confusing. Wasn't that clear to me. And then incorrect information. Sellers might have good product knowledge, but there's been times where I've seen, in terms of technical, it would be so many contradictions. So you'll have a product, and one customer will ask the seller, hey, can the Maxisys do XYZ? No, it can't. Then later on, you'll see someone ask the same question, and then you'll see the answer is yes, it can. And then there's been times where I did myself, like I saw some comments and I was like, but I've done this before. And then I'll just throw it back to my engineer and they'll say, yeah, the tool can do that. So the information there isn't 100% accurate. And, that's why I tell people I just like to talk to human beings. I don't like to you only can do so much research on the internet, and I just don't trust all the information that's presented to me. I question it. And then lastly, it's warranty and return issues. So some returns might be done via Amazon, but if the seller sold to you directly, it might be through the seller themselves. Now this could be some logistic problems. Like if it's from a vendor from China, you need specific shipping instructions to get that tool over there so it won't get confiscated. And there's even some shipping companies that won't ship our tool because of the lithium batteries. You need paperwork with that. So, I mean, this is something that the average consumer doesn't know, and it's a problem. Now, without being an online expert and, not knowing what to look out for, many consumers are purchasing these units not having a clue on the seller's origin. What makes things worse is you're only going to actually find out when the tool becomes problematic. Because when you call the support hotline that's, labeled on the box, you're going to feel as if someone pulled the chair from under you when they ask for your serial number and they tell you that your tool is from an overseas seller. But I'm sure you're asking, why does it matter, who I purchase from? I should get the same support. Well, so one would think, but let me share with you Autel's distribution system, and then you can understand what I'm trying to talk about. So there are two types of retailers. There's offline retailers, and these are what I call neutral platforms. So, any store that you can go in and buy the tool, Cornwell, Pep Boys. I've even seen the tool at Walmart in some places. These are offline retailers. Now, the benefit of buying from an offline retailer is they do have a point of support. All right. So, even though you buy it from Walmart or whatever, Pep Boys, you can call, the head branch, the head manufacturer who brought in the tool, and get your support. That's why the tools are a little bit more. Okay. Then there's online retailers. The online retailers were you're going to find mostly on eBay, Amazon, and there's even some websites that will use Autel's name that are selling the tool at a really, really cheap price. Now, they're legitimate tools, okay? Like I can't endorse any, websites and stuff because as I said, I don't, work for them, but they're most of the time they're legitimate tools. It's just that when something happens to the tool, that's when your costs are going to go up because you have to be at their disposal. And if they're overseas, then it could be very costly. Now, Autel is based in China, and all the tools come from there. Everything starts from there. That's where I got my distribution certificate. And what happens is when an offline retailer wants a tool, they'll get it through them, and then they put it in a database. So let's say, for example, you're a U.S. client. You bought from an online retailer who's from overseas. And when you call the tech support line, they're going to ask for your serial, and then they're going to see it's not a tool that they imported. And that's when you're going to actually find out that your tool was from an overseas vendor. Okay, you only learn after the sale. So this can give you some more clarity on how Autel distribution works and how it can have an effect on what happens when something goes wrong with your tool. Now I'm going to just give you some evidence of some information that I noticed that an average consumer would have never been able to comprehend unless they were an expert in buying this tool on Amazon. The first thing I did was go to Amazon and type in Maxisys Elite, and I just randomly chose a listing. As I started to do my due diligence, I noticed something near the bottom of the page that really caught my eye. So let's look carefully right here. As you can see, it says, "Come with 2 years free update. Please contact the seller instead of Autel USA for after-sales service and support." Then it says, "Please notice that there's 2 empty slots for the Binge 14 and the Shang -3 adapter, which are not included in the North American units." So what this basically means is this seller is an overseas seller. That's why they're telling you not to contact Autel USA, because if you contact them, they're going to ask for your serial number and it's not going to be in their database. You see? So what you need to do is, if you're a US client and you're adamant about buying on Amazon, this is something that you need to look into. And what I also discovered is, let's say a manufacturer or actually a seller has multiple listings that are, let's say they're all the Maxisys Elite. Sometimes they don't list this information on there. You don't know this. It's only listed on some auctions under that seller. So that's something to consider. And then when I clicked warranty and support, some websites or some auction sites will have their contact information, some don't. Some will have it where you can email them, but generally it will just say something that you need to contact the supplier for sales and support. So if you're adamant on buying on Amazon, contact them and find out, have them put in writing what support do they offer. Okay. And then let me show you this. This is also something that I get a lot. So sometimes I get prospects who have their mindset that they're going to purchase online, but since they can't contact them directly, they will try to extract knowledge from me in order to have some certainty that before they make the purchase that the tool can solve their problem. So this particular prospect was going to buy the Maxisys Elite. He was going to work on his own vehicle with a 2003 Audi A4, and he said he did a wiring harness replacement. So just to give you a bit of more background, he called me with a specific question to see if the Maxisys Elite had the capability of configuring a wiring harness replacement for his vehicle. He also mentioned to me how he was going to purchase from Autel's official website for a lower price. So automatically, I get enough calls to make a distinction if somebody is focused on buying online based on the lowest price, or if somebody really doesn't genuinely know. This guy knew what he was doing. I could tell just by his vocabulary. So what I did, just to help him out when I had the time, I gave him the information. And then once I validated that the tool could do it, I then contacted him. I said, hey, look, the route you're going is going to be a costly one. And I was educating him on what will happen when he chooses that route. And I just, informed him so he can make a decision that's better for him, So as a result, the prospect purchased the tool online and then called me back for support as he did not know how to execute the procedure. All right. Here's just a little bit of the audio so you can hear for yourself.
Hi, this is Curtis from Autel Consultancy. How could I assist you today?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Okay, I talked to you last time about me getting the Elite.
What was your name again?
Lions.
Oh, okay. I remember. Okay. Do you have any other questions that you need cleared up on it, or?
No, I ended up getting it, but the thing is, do you help with not even setting up, like, coding it?
Wait, do I help with what?
Like, right now, the harness, I have all misfiles. I just put in a new harness, but I want to know if I can recode it so I can read the harness right.
Oh, you're looking for tech support.
Yes.
Okay. Did you buy the tool from me, or you got the tool elsewhere?
Elsewhere.
Really? Okay. I charge for tech support. It's a $600 commitment for non-clients. And then I'll be able to validate whatever you need validation on. So like if you wanted to know how to do something, I can get the VIN number of the vehicle. I could send it to my engineer and she can say, yes, the option is, X, Y, Z, you press this button, or she can say, Kurt, it's not on there and stuff like that. And then I'll take over your updates, I'll give you the training, and what else? Oh, I'll teach you how to do the programming as well.
Now, what I did, you guys, I told this prospect that you're buying a complex tool, okay? Just how your car is becoming complex, and that's why you decided to buy a tool to solve those complex problems. The same way it goes with the level of support. You need complex, support. And he didn't believe me, and this happens to a lot of people. So I just did this as a demonstration, so you can choose and see, which path is it really worth it? Like, did he really save on that? He could probably figure it out, but it just would have been a lot easier if you have somebody that you can contact, especially the engineer who gave me that information could have, said, Kurt, this is what you have to do. And then it would have been solved, so don't let this be you guys. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't let this be you. Now let me take you back into some of the misconceptions that I discovered. A lot of prospects who don't understand, how this whole thing works will literally believe everything they see on Amazon, and it's confusing. For example, you see this here? Now, many people fall for this and, they think it's Autel directly selling you this product to you. Okay, that's not the case, my friend. It's not the case. Autel allows distributors to use their name and their logo on their, when they're marketing their products, but they do not allow their tools to be sold directly to the public. They'll find someone like myself who will buy the tool from Amazon, and then the consumer will then be able to acquire the tool. Okay. And here are some of the other, misconceptions and questions that are just really confusing. One question was, what's the place of the origin? And the answer is China, but shipped from USA warehouse. So let me ask you this. Does this mean that since it's shipped from a USA warehouse, then it must be selling a US model with support, right? Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't sell on those platforms. So that's something that you have to figure out with that supplier. Okay. Here's another topic related to the previous question. Are these supported by US technical support team? And their answer was, please don't worry. Autel's headquarters is based in China. If you have any problems using this device, just contact us via email or phone, and we will try our best to help you. All right. This is not a straight answer, and it could be yes or no. All right. And for those of you who are in the US, there's other options than this, and this wasn't really clear. Okay. Here's another question that I found interesting. How well does this unit read flash? I do a lot of Dodge, Chevy, Ford diagnostics, and their answer was this product reflashes Benz and BMW. And for the second question, it can diagnose Dodge, Chevrolet, Ford, diesel cars, but it cannot reprogram them. Now, you guys, you can use the J2534 to program those vehicles. All right. This isn't completely accurate information. The last question, does this tool have a troubleshooting feature? And their answer was yes, it can. But, for those of you who have a Snap-on, they have the best troubleshooting feature hands down. Like, it's extremely complex. You can have hardly any mechanical background, and that thing will pretty much guide you to where to look for the problem. On the Autels, it's extremely generic, and it's not as detailed as a Snap-on. You're going to need a third party like Identifix or Mitchell to acquire that information. Okay, so are you guys starting to see my point now? It's really confusing, and if you're not an expert in buying this tool, it's really gonna set you back, because there's a lot of information you don't get. And these are, I'm gonna play another clip of people who are new to the game, and they're just using Amazon as like their Bible based.
Okay, so
Okay, like
go ahead.
like this is one thing I was reading up, like, say, for example, like it'll say something like it'll be somebody ask a question like, does it support throttle body relearning, throttle body position sensor relearning? And then they'll say, so whoever was asking the question would be like, no, it doesn't. And then another question, somebody asked the same question, like, but it'd be a little different, like, does it support throttle body, something else by throttle body? Then they'll be like, yes, it does.
So you're confused, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, does it?
Yeah, well,
does it really have relearn? Does it have relearn on it? Throttle body relearn, or do it not?
Well. This is what I'm going to tell you. If you keep on reading that stuff, you're going to end up being confused.
Now, that appointment that I had, or actually wasn't an appointment, but I spent over an hour trying to educate this guy. And like, I already knew that, he was going to buy from Amazon. And, I was just doing my best just to, let him know that you can't trust these online sites. They're very generic and they don't give you the accurate information that you need to make a decision. Okay, it's not good at all. And I'm just telling you this just based on what I discovered as an expert, So yeah, just another person who unfortunately is confused. And I'm not blaming you guys. It's not your fault. I mean, the first thing that we do is we type it in on Google. Amazon is all over the search engines, and that's what you do. So this is just another example, guys. I just want you to just cognitively think. That's all. Here's some food for thought. I represent about 300 clients to date. I would say after talking to each of them, most of them come from a mechanical background and they are starting to realize that coding and calibrating are mandatory when required to fix these newer vehicles. Some have experience in coding, depending on which tool they had previously, but 85% of them don't have any experience in programming. Okay? Now, this data comes from my clientele, but what about all those people who are buying their tools on Amazon? Okay? I can't, guarantee, I can guarantee that most of them are, coming from the same background and don't have the resources and the know-how on how to do programming. Okay? Programming is a very sought after skill and a lot of people don't know about it. In fact, if you ask anyone who's offering, this tool, ask them, have you ever done programming before? And they would probably tell you, no, I've never done it. They'll be direct with you. How does this serve you as a customer when you're left to learn how to do this yourself? Because even the manufacturers don't really give you clear support on how to do this. And you guys are mechanics. When you're doing programming, this takes the use of a computer, and you got to download Java. You got to make sure you have the right operating system. I mean, there's a lot of unknown territory that you're stepping in. Some guys, like I have some clients who are from IT backgrounds. They actually excel in this, but for the average mechanic, computers isn't their strong point. So as I said, this is something that you also have to think about too. Let me give you a visualization on this. Let's say this is mount programming. Okay, this is where we want to be, and pretty soon this is where we must be in order to solve programming related issues. Now, where I live personally, there's a popular, beautiful destination called Table Mountain. It's in Cape Town, South Africa. It's beautiful. I like to hike this mountain, maybe once or twice a year. And funny enough, I like to look at nature to get answers, to the strangest things, So during one of my trips, I saw some extreme hikers who were doing free climbing. Now there's a trail that, you can take that's, safe for everybody to go, but there's trails that are not really regulated, and people will do risky things by just climbing them, like cliffhanger type stuff. So without any ropes, that person who has experience can climb that mountain without equipment. But what happens when he falls? It's not going to be a pleasant ride. It could be, you could die, and a lot of people do die from that mountain. Now, then you have other people who want to get to the top, but they have equipment that will catch them when they fall, or when something goes wrong, but it also propels them to the top. Okay, this is the same analogy with this tool. The customer in the back who chose not to have the support could possibly make it to the top, but in the journey, it's going to be extremely difficult. There's going to be situations that he wasn't aware of, that if he had the right consultation, it could save him, $1,200. It could save him time. Let's say he had a problem with this tool where if I knew the symptom, I could tell him a quick fix where he would have to look online, maybe get some irrelevant information and, mess up his laptop, while the other client gets to choose that he wants support, and by having the proper resources to help him get to the top on where he needs to be. So my advice to you, if you want to make a purchase on Amazon, here are some things to consider. The seller you purchase from is ultimately responsible for you. Okay? Any problem that you're going to have, at the end of the day, you have to revert back to him. All right? So keep that in mind. If you want an email-based relationship, if you don't want a relationship, if you want a phone relationship, you just really got to realize, what is the easiest point of contact to that seller, and that seller is responsible for you. B, clarifying in writing what support is being offered to you. Okay? Support, which I'm going to explain a little bit later, is a very general term and anybody can say it, but what are they really going to be giving you after the sale? Okay? C, if you're only making a purchase based on the lowest price, then you can buy online. Like if you don't care about benefiting from the tool, if you just want the tool, just want to get the tool, then buying online is right for you. But remember, your cost will be more. Price and cost are different. Price is what you pay today. Cost is what you will pay during the duration of ownership. D, don't take everything you read for gospel when buying online. All right? As you can see, it's a lot of misinformation. They will list products that are like stage 1 tools that are little handheld devices, and they'll put, it can calibrate a steering angle sensor, and it can just do that for one manufacturer, and it doesn't get into all the modules. So it's really difficult to do your research on Amazon, because as I said, you can't call Amazon, they can't tell you. What I would suggest probably is maybe to call Autel New York and see if they can consult you on that. Okay, don't call me, because as I said, I don't do customer service, I do client service. And that's what I'm going to share with you now. You can see in red, I highlighted this, okay? I'm going to share with you the differences in support, okay, that you probably weren't even aware of. As you can see here, we have client support, neutral support, no or limited support. Now, in the previous slide, I told you to ask the seller whom you're purchasing from to make a list of the services they will offer to you for the sale. Here's why. Let's say a seller gives you a list of 2 services they offer to you. Most of these are online based, probably. Then, this could probably be classified as a no or limited support on the pyramid here. Let's say the next seller offers you 5 services to you. This could probably be from a neutral platform. Neutral platforms are like, major automotive supply stores. They have a bunch of other products that they sell, and they'll give you some general information on it. You can call them, and then they have Autel US as a backup. That's a neutral platform. And then you have what they call client support. Client support is from, for people who want to receive an extended amount of professional services. This level of support is unique in a sense that it's purely focused on giving and helping the client make that transition to where they are, whether it be mechanical, to where they need to be. All right, which is, being a technician, a programming technician, and having the right systems in place to address problems that they may have. Okay, that's the difference. Let me give you a couple of examples. So this is like 1/3 of some of the services that I am able to provide for my clients. So on the right side, you can see technical how-to consulting. So let's say, for example, you replace a particular module and you don't know the function route on how to get to it. So since I work with the engineer, I can get that information. I'll get the VIN number, I'll send it over to the engineer, and she'll say, all right, Kurt, press this button, this button, this button, and then I will log into your tablet with those instructions and walk you through that process. So that's the technical how-to. The other thing I can do is language change services. So a lot of my subscribers are from different parts of the world. And what happens to most people is, since they weren't consulted, they'll buy on Amazon and they don't realize that certain distributors can't change the language. I just got off the phone with a client not too long ago. He bought 3 Maxisys Elites and he needed them changed into Spanish. And because he bought it from an online vendor, he can't change it. So it's either he's going to make a decision and keep it, or, you know, take all those back. So what I can do is, if you tell me this beforehand when you're consulted, I can make sure that you get the right tool where we can update that language package to your machine. All right. And then, the third thing is direct engineer consultation. So as I said, working with the engineer, they can tell us stuff that's inside the tablet. Like when you're having a specific coding problem, I'll do something called a data lodging, and it will send that information to the engineer. The engineer will analyze it and, you know, give us some direction on you know, what the problem could be, if it's with our software or with our hardware. So you benefit from that. Okay. My loaner device guarantee on extended repair. So I know what it's like. Like, it's so funny when clients talk to me, they'll have a tool, and then when they get the tool and something happens to it, it's like they become like crackheads. They need their tool, you know. So I devised a system where if the repair is taking too long, let's say if it takes over 2 weeks, you know, I can organize a loaner device for you so you can keep on working. All right. And then client software reversal. So this happens a lot of times where Autel gives an update. The update, how does it doesn't make, let's say you were working on Ford and you realize the Ford version previously was working a lot better. So what I'm able to do is, if you tell me this, hey, Kurt, I just downloaded the update, you know, I can reverse back to the previous Ford version. And then that way you can, you know, wait till those glitches are fixed and then work on the vehicle that, you know, was on that version that was working good for you. And then also there's been situations where a client is doing a procedure, I do a data lodging, there's a software glitch, and then Autel will make a beta update just for that client so they can get the job done. So this is something that will be beneficial for you, and it will save you time and money. Next is software related issues. So there's going to be times where your tablet's running slow. There's going to be times where your tablet freezes. I mean, these are symptoms that I can fix with my eyes closed. And then you're going to have hardware related issues. So like, you know, sometimes if you update your J2534, what I'm able to do is I can use a special software to, let's say, flash the firmware, or if your screen goes blank, you know, I can tell you which Autel facility to get it repaired the quickest. You'll be taking care of that. And then logistics strategy. So as I said, I have clients from all over the world, and you know, some of them have some really hectic customs. So I can do all the paperwork to get that through customs. And, you know, this way you'll have somebody, you know, walking you through that process. You don't have to do it alone. And then one-on-one over the phone consultation. So all of my clients know me by name. I know them by name. I know their serial number. I know what tool they had. I know when they bought it. I have all that information in my CRM system. And it's a one-on-one relationship. I have a very classic approach to how I do my business, and it works. You know, you call a number, somebody picks up. If they don't pick up, I'll always call you back, you know? And then you get educational training videos. So I have some, clients who, don't have formal education in terms of, AE certifications. Some countries don't have that. So I have this third party that has over 400 videos, and the videos will cover things like, how to do brake bleeding procedures with the Autel, how to do active tests. And then they go on to electrical coding and even programming. They'll show you like step by step how to do programming, like for, major manufacturers, GM, Ford, Kia, all types of stuff. So this is, as I said, just a sample of my statement of services that I'm able to offer. So you guys can clearly make the distinction between customer support and client support. And with client support, I can take any mechanic that has absolutely no programming experience, no computer experience, and make him a programming technician. Okay? Anybody. Here's a short clip of me helping a client who hired me to help him program a GM vehicle. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna click next. All right, so these are all the control modules here, and we're looking for the ECM. Did it? Okay, sorry. Okay. I think it's normal. Alright, so then I'm going to click next. Next. Alright. We are programming. And this is going to take maybe 15 minutes. Yeah, but I'm not going to, you're not going to watch the whole thing. So this client right here, he actually purchased his tool from Amazon, and he was starting to get a lot of programming events, but he didn't know how to use the tool, and he's calling somebody who knows how to do the programming. So that's when he called me up, and I told him, I said, hey, I can help you do this, and now I walked him step by step. I did all the nerdy stuff for him, but he's able to solve this problem himself now, and that's why he bought the tool. Okay, so I know at this point I'm just gonna try to help you rationalize your purchasing decision to what you really want to make. Okay, you don't have to be what I call an Amazon-bee. Okay, what's an Amazon-bee? By definition, it's just a person who belongs to the Amazon, world, and they place orders without really thinking it through. Okay? You as a mechanic are buying the elite. So you want to solve, you want to get this tool for its special functions and its programming capabilities. And how are you going to learn how to program? Okay? This is a huge problem that isn't being addressed when you purchase on these online platforms. They don't teach you this, okay? You can now decide what avenue you want to take and, what's going to make you be a better technician, okay? If you just want to get the tool and you really don't feel that you're going to benefit from it, from these services, you know exactly where to go. You can get it from Amazon. But if you really want to learn how to use this tool to its maximum capability, especially the programming, I would like to represent you as a client and help you achieve this. Okay? Here's my offer. First, you will receive the Maxisys Elite with the J2534 interface and the case with all the adapters. My kit includes the missing BMW programming adapter that's not included in any of the online kits, and you will also be getting the missing bins adapter. I just throw it in because, it's not nice when you paid all this money for a tool and you open the case and you see that little empty slot in your kit. It's just not nice. So I give that to you for free. You will also be receiving you have a choice of the MV108 digital video scope or the PS100 electrical circuit tester, okay? You will also get all this for $3,600 shipped to your door with the PayPal fee included. Plus, you get my 90-day money-back guarantee. Now, the reason why I give such a long guarantee is because I know the fear that you have when you're buying a machine. You don't necessarily trust everything that I'm saying. You've been duped before. Somebody told you that their tool can do all this stuff, and they only give you like 7 days to try it out. That's not long enough. Okay. The reason why you use such a long guarantee is because you need at least 90 days to really validate if this tool is working for you. And as your consultant, I only want to be compensated if I solve your problem. That's what I'm all about. I just want to solve problems. If you feel that this tool isn't solving your problem, just put it back in the box and then send it back, and I'll refund your money 100%, no questions asked. Okay. I just want you to be absolutely certain that this tool is right for you. I will also be your dedicated consultant, and you have 2 tiers of support, Autel US and Autel China. So unlike most people who sell a tool, I take fully responsibility for my client. Okay. I'm your point of contact. You can contact me. You get my cell phone, you get my, my main number, my email, my Skype, and I can liaise with you directly. That way you don't have to be wasting time, waiting, on a phone line for 30, 40 minutes and stuff. Like, I don't represent a lot of clients, like they're handpicked. So you'll have that benefit. And the last thing is I will pay for your 1 month free access to the training videos. And as I said, the training videos will cover the basics of the Maxisys, but then they go into programming. That's something that you would like to learn. This package has been thoroughly developed to ensure that your transition to the new generation of vehicles will be streamlined. If you would like to order, just follow these instructions. Call the number above, 844-210-9020, and call me up for a strategy session. This will allow me to understand your needs and make sure that this tool is right for you. And I will also share with you the strategies and how I can help you save the cost on your tool, and also, maybe even, other accessories that, I could tailor for you in your package. After you determine that the Elite is right for you, then I will send you a PayPal pro forma invoice with everything that we discussed. And after payment has been made, then it takes about 2 days to process your order. On the 3rd day, you'll get the tracking number, and my system will notify you each day anytime there's movement with your shipment. That way you don't have to check manually. When you get the tool, call me up. I will get you registered and spend about 30 minutes walking you through the tool. And this will allow you to quickly kickstart, and you can start helping your clients without the hassle of doing things yourself. So that's pretty much it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope that this transparency can really help you make an educated decision, because at the end of the day, what's going to be, it's going to be the game changer, like where you want to be and where you could have been. And I just don't want you to be those guys who, just got the tool and not utilizing it. Okay. So If you like this video, guys, I really appreciate your support, and like, subscribe, and yeah, I hope to talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.